It is Market Movers, and we are moving those markets on a Wednesday. Take a look at this thing. This is beautiful. The blood and guts, how tight ends save football. And of course, the Philadelphia Phillies up 1-0 ALCS, NLCS. Get it right. Got to touch our boy Bryce, because Bryce touches them all. What's up, everybody? My name is Dan Koob, executive producer of content and media here at Sport Trade. Welcome into Studio S at Sport Trade HQ. We have an amazing show today. We'll hop into the order book and tell you exactly what is going on. We have the blood and guts, and no, it's nothing to do with October and with Halloween. We are talking about the latest and greatest, a new book about football that if you love the NFL, you are going to love this conversation. And if you love the Buffalo Bills, you're going to be able to make some educated decisions on how to trade them on Sport Trade. Tyler Dunn is here. We're going to talk about his book and the Bills. My friend, how the hell are you? Tyler Dunn, stopping at Market Movers on his book tour. What's up, man?
That Dan Koob voice, it's music to the ears. It's a soothing Bon Iver song, Justin Vernon. I want to light a candle and just breathe it in, Dan Koob.
Dulcet tones.
One of my best friends. To do this show with you, it is making my day, my week, my month, my year, Dan.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, if you had to power rank all the appearances you've done, including The Herd, I assume Market Movers is somewhere in the top one.
Oh, I mean, can you go above one?
Sure.
I would put it above one, actually. This is above and beyond. This book tour, I didn't add it up. I think we're around like 60 or so radio and podcast appearances for a week and a half, 2 weeks. And this is absolutely the one I've been looking forward to. Of course, because, we haven't seen each other in way too long, and we used to see each other every day living in Green Bay.
I don't think I've seen you since my wedding day, which is crazy to me. Not that I remember a big portion of it. Yeah.
That was a fun ass time, man. That was awesome. Dan Koob, of course it's going to be a great time, but yeah, we got to change that. We got to get down to your territory ASAP. Granted, a lot's changed in both of our lives. We've got 2 kids. Yep. You've got a beautiful Ellie in the world. So we got some moving parts here, but we're going to make it happen.
And if you come down to South Jersey, you can use Sport Trade. That's called a segue, everybody. Let's talk blood and guts here, Tyler. This is the book for people who just love football the way it used to be played and perhaps the way it should be played, with an emphasis heavily, of course, on the tight end. It is a very strange position when you sort of think about how football has changed. You're not exactly an offensive lineman. You're not exactly a quote-unquote skill position player. So how much did these guys, when I say these guys, I'm talking Rob Gronkowski, Tony Gonzalez, George Kittle, Mike Ditka, how much do these guys love the fact that you dedicated 300 pages to them?
You just nailed it. I mean, the tight end is football. The tight end is America, Dan. This is everything we love. But, the impetus for the book is exactly what you kind of started with, where you watch a game and frustration can set in when you see the flags, you see the fines, you see the NFL basically dipping its product into a pool of Purell. Let's overly sanitize this beautiful thing that we all fell in love with at such a young age. It's maddening, to be honest. So I was just thinking, okay, everything we love about football, the violence, the element of risk, the fact that this is not for everybody. And guess what? That's okay. Yeah. It's okay. You can pick up a baseball bat, meet your buddies out at the park. You can pick up a basketball like we used to do there on the old Hagemeister Media Mafia and play some pickup ball. Not everybody can put on the pads and inflict pain, absorb pain, be okay with that. Yeah. And these are the real life gladiators. So I just wanted to kind of travel the country to see how this sport that we do love is being saved, because I do believe it is that tight end. Like you said, you have to do everything, right? You got to block, you got to go run up the seam on 3rd and 8, catch a big pass late in the game. You no position in the sport really epitomizes the sport itself like the tight end. So it was great, man. From Ditka to Kittle, to hear their stories. It became more about life than football. I mean, you read the book, their personal stories. Yeah. It kind of draws us to the mirror, I think, to look into our own souls and contemplate, our life choices and how we want to be better fathers and sons and husbands and all of that. It was such an experience I'll never forget.
One thing I thought was really interesting, a common thread throughout the entire thing, is how it goes back to sort of what you were saying. You have to be a certain person to be on that football field, and specifically to play tight end, where you have to do everything, right? A lot of the guys talk about the ability to sort of flip the switch, which I think sort of flies into the face of what everybody now wants with their football, which is we just kind of want to see points. We don't really want to see, people getting hit too hard. We don't want to see quarterbacks being down. We have to preserve the quarterbacks. You're a high school quarterback, a state championship appearing quarterback. Correct me if I'm wrong. Shout out to Ellicottville. Could you have handled the physicality of today's NFL when you were slinging it? Doesn't sound like you're in favor.
I won't compare those Ellicottville Eagles of Section 6 Class D quite, to the Ravens Steelers, in the mid-2000s. Not quite the same level of physicality, but you are absolutely right in terms of...
Not what the tape says.
That's true. We were a run-first operation. Yeah. I did lead the power sweep right and left at quarterback. So
you're like an early...
Tomato.
Yeah, sure.
But you know what? The book is 15 chapters, 15 long-form profiles on these tight ends. And I think when you really read their stories and see where they come from, Dan, they were uniquely qualified to bring everything we're talking about to life, where the tight end position wasn't something that Mike Ditka or Dallas Clark or Tony Gonzalez or Rob Gronkowski. It wasn't like they were little kids and dreamt of being a tight end. I guess Gronk's the exception because he idolized Jeremy Shockey. But for the most part, the tight end position chose you. So Dallas Clark is basically more Rudy than Rudy ever dreamt of being at Notre Dame, and mowing Kinnick Stadium and selling the campus newspaper and, you know, reading ads to be a psychology student's dummy just to get a few bucks to pay his way through school when he's a 6-string linebacker, you know, just busting hump to get noticed. And it really took Kirk Ferentz looking at him and saying, well, you're not that good at linebacker, but at tight end, with what that position demands, not only physically, but mentally, the mental fortitude to be a tight end, it was, I mean, what he was really born to do. And it chose him. And that comes up again and again. So that's really why I feel like this position is the sport itself and can really keep football.
So before I butchered my original question, let me get back to it. Having said all that, right, and the growing pressure from the outside world to now sanitize the product, how did these guys feel about that?
Ooh, I think they're a little torn because I do think they do like the fact that health is a priority. Yeah. Right. Well, nobody wants the 60s.
But to your point, though, Tyler, I mean, a lot of them in the book even say, hey, look, and you and I, look, you've covered the league a long time. I've had a lot of conversations with these guys, too. A lot of them, to a man, will say, hey, we accept that is a byproduct of playing in this sport. And a lot of the guys in the book say the same thing.
Absolutely. I think they just want honesty from the NFL, as we all do. Just don't tell us that it's safe. It's not, right? It's as long as there's blocking and tackling, there will be injuries. You know, unfortunately, there will be head trauma. It's the nature of the beast. And so it's on the individual to decide, is this for me? Is this a risk I'm willing to take on to better my life, and not only my life, but my family's life? Ben Coates says, hell yes. You know, he grew up on the roofs of houses installing shingles from age 7 to 20. His dad was a World War II vet. His brothers fought in the Middle East. Wow. I mean, he's just one of many. You go through history. I mean, Shannon Sharp, his upbringing, surreal. Tony Gonzalez, Rob Gronkowski, Mike Ditka, John Mackey, Jackie Smith. All of these guys come from very different backgrounds, but the good that the game brought them in terms of, you know, financial, obviously, but the camaraderie, the friendships that are built for life. To a man, even Ben Coates, who struggles to get around the house, who can't really drive himself, who's physically hurting as much as any tight end in this book, he's adamant that he would do it all over again.
Quick timeout from this conversation to remind you that every week here on Market Movers, we are giving away $100. It is the Market Movers Sweepstakes. All you have to do, it's super easy, Tyler. You could even do this. You just have to follow the Sports Trade app on Twitter, quote tweet the Market Movers Show with hashtag TradeUpNewJersey, and you'll be entered to win $100. You pick a winner every Friday afternoon here on the program. You've got 7 days to make a Sports Trade account. If you don't have one, if you do, well, you'll find $100 in your account. Quick and easy, just like that. There are some other things, mumbo jumbo, that I could tell you if you don't have a Sports Trade account, but let's just make it easy. Make one within 7 days. One of the best things about this entire book, Tyler, and we'll get to Tony Gonzalez after this question, who's also amazing, but the entire chapter about Rob Gronkowski and the Gronkowskis and how he lived his life in his early 20s when he was winning Super Bowls with the Patriots is basically like a social calendar of intense drinking, partying, and showing his abdominals to everyone and anything possibly imaginable. What was it like chatting with Gronk?
You know, as I said earlier, Gronk is a dude who looked up to somebody like Jeremy Shockey and loved the fact that he played hard, lived hard, partied hard, had the absolute time of his life. Like, he wanted to be a rock star in the form of a football player. I mean, that was Rob's goal. I mean, his entire life, like, even back when he started lifting weights, him and his brothers would talk about it. Hey, we're doing it for the chicks, baby. We're getting the guns to get the girls.
Isn't that why we all play football? Isn't that why we all played?
Exactly, right? Curls for girls. I think he probably worked on the triceps too. I think
No,
his dad,
no triceps. There were no
fitness
kickbacks.
guru.
Yeah, no tricep kickbacks back in the early aughts. It's all bench. It's all pull-ups, big muscle groups. That's what it's all about.
I mean, he chooses Arizona because the pool parties were looking pretty darn good down there, right? Like that went into his decision. So, heck yeah, he gets to the NFL, and as Rob kind of said, he caught like the last era of true house parties, and guys just don't do that as much anymore. Like just all out, DJs, strobe lights. When they won an AFC championship, James Devlin, the fullback, kind of provides the play-by-play where it is surreal, like the scene at Rob Gronkowski's Foxborough home, where one of Rob's friends from Buffalo, it wasn't a brother, it was a friend, he's pretty sure, comes up to his wife and just starts doing the Steve-O, like and Devlin's looking at him like, come on, man, like this, he kind of mean mugs him, get the hell out of here. But that was Rob, man. He's drinking with Waka Flocka Flame on the Gronk cruise, and he's always putting in the work, even in the morning when he has a throbbing hangover and he's in pain. Hey, we felt that hangover on Washington Street from time to time in Green Bay, Dan.
From time to time.
What did Rob? What's that?
I said from time to time.
Time to time.
Stirrups.
What did Rob Gronkowski
Nothing better
do?
than
He
stirrups.
pulls it. we better not digress.
That's okay.
We could spend an hour on that.
We could.
He pops in the P90X Insanity DVD and he does a workout. So and Rob is adamant on this, Dan. Like as he's drinking, it's not like he's pounding a dozen beers like we might. It's vodka waters. It's dancing his butt off. He's partying. He's moving. He's grooving. Everybody's making fun of him. They think he's having a seizure out there on the dance floor, but he's getting a workout in while he's partying. So. He credits that to a lot of his success early on in New England. And what's cool is right at that point where he could have gone into a shell and been a robot and done whatever Bill Belichick and the New England Patriot way, tells him to do. He didn't. Like they lose the Super Bowl. He parties. He's the number one storyline for all the wrong reasons because he's injured. He's partying. His shirt's off. Everybody's like, what the hell are you doing, Rob? He didn't go into a shell. He kept partying that off season, right? He's telling Tim Tebow he wants to take away his virginity, amongst other things, that off season. It's the summer of Gronk. I think that was so good for the soul of the sport. Like, be yourself, be authentic. It's just a game. Have fun. Rob Gronkowski is everything we love about football.
I'm sure he's not the only mid-20s New England Knight to credit drinking and dancing until the early wee hours as their success at that age. Is he coming back?
I think so. I mean, that's me.
Really?
It's a gut feeling. Yeah, I feel like if Tom Brady places a phone call to Rob Gronkowski late in the season and Tampa Bay is a Super Bowl contender and he can have a role on that team, I think he'd take the call for sure. He'd think long and hard about it. And I think that urge is at least going to be there. I mean, he loves delivering hits. But more than anything, I think he likes taking a hit and proving he can get back up. I mean, it reminds him of the mini stick battles with his brothers back in Buffalo when they absolutely are going at it. There you go. Christmas Eve, his younger brother's getting gashed and being rushed to the ER. It was craziness in that house all the time. All he knows is that world of physical punishment. And if his body's in a good place, look, he retired already. He took a year off. He let his mind and body and soul kind of heel post-Patriots, and he couldn't get enough. He took that call. He returned to the Buccaneers. He won the Super Bowl. I absolutely would not be surprised if that urge to get back on the field and prove that he can deliver a hit, take a hit, and get back up, if that brings him back.
George Kittle is another character in this book that's full of characters. We haven't even mentioned Mike Ditka, who basically set the blueprint for all of this. One of my favorite parts about this book is the ink that George Kittle decides he has to get in order to get his mind to a place where he can inflict pain on other people, because I don't have the exact quote, but he says, basically, my job is to put my helmet through your chest. And that is, again, a common thread amongst the tight ends in this book, Tyler. And one of my favorite things is the tattoo he has on his forearm, which is massive, of the Joker. And he uses that to what? Basically symbolize, I have to become this chaotic, anarchic person, not a word, in order to be successful.
Yeah, you're right. He wants just total anarchy, total chaos. That's life in the middle of a football game when anything can happen. And George Kittle embraced that world where, yeah, he definitely takes on the persona of different tattoos all over his arms. I think he's got a gorilla on there too. Some of these stories are all mixing up in my head, but
Sure.
You're absolutely right on the Joker because, hey, this is also somebody who isn't just going to block you 10 yards down the field. He's going to laugh while he's doing it and have the time of his life. Like he enjoys that element of it. And one other cool thing with Kittle is, in this world of just, mean, gnarly, ass-kicking dudes like Aaron Donald who want to rip your face off, he had that ability, like before the snap, to kind of disarm you. I mean, he'll crack a joke. He'll say, "Hey, how's your day going?" Like he tries to do this small talk to kind of like disarm the defensive lineman, or at least get inside of his head, where like you're not supposed to just talk like that in the middle of this world, but George Kittle does, because guess what? He's that ability to just flip a switch in real time and turn on you in a profound way. So the psychology of the position, I really think, comes through in those conversations with George Kittle.
The book is The Blood and Guts, How Tight Ends Save Football. Tyler, where can we find it?
The easiest way probably is just pop on Amazon. That's where we all are.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so hey, there you go. Hardcover, Kindle, Audible, whatever suits you, it's right there. And anywhere books are sold, obviously.
Tyler, in my wedding, I was in his. Couldn't be bothered to write a personal message in my copy. No big deal. We are moving on here. Actually, you know what? Let's pull up this poll quote, because I think this perfectly encapsulates the book. If you're still, you shouldn't be, but if you're still on the fence about this book, this is from Tony Gonzalez. This is a direct quote from the book. It says, quote, "The tight end position represents life. Quarterbacks don't get that. They don't have to hit anybody. They don't have to put on a chin strap. Tom Brady would not be playing 22 years at tight end. No one's ever done it because it's not fun. It's not all glitz and glam. It's getting down and getting your hands dirty. It is a dirty, dirty position that can also be fun. These wide receivers don't have to effing do that. They're such prima donnas because they can be." Tyler, I am the wide receiver here at Sport Trade. Let's quickly hop into our prediction of the futures. And what we mean by this, Tyler, is because we just launched futures in the Sport Trade app. For those who don't know, Tyler, of course, covered the Buffalo Bills for the Buffalo News twice, if I believe, and now at golongtd.com, which is the absolute best features writing in the NFL. And for like barely nothing per month, you can get all the features and the Isaiah McKenzie show and everything like that up at golongtd. So make sure you guys are hopping over there and spending your well-earned dollars on that. Tyler, we're going to take a look at the futures markets here, specifically talking about the Buffalo Bills, because they are garnering about a quarter of the market, trading, as we say here on Sport Trade, for $24.50. Of course, if you are watching us for the first time, that means price equals probability on Sport Trade. We are live in New Jersey. If you're joining us from New York, where Tyler is, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Download the app in the Apple iOS store. What that means is a 24.5% probability chance of them winning the Super Bowl. So for a share of that, we call them contracts, it costs you $24.50. As we take a look at the rest of the market here, Tyler, you have my Philadelphia Eagles at $13.50, the Kansas City Chiefs at $11, the Bills just defeated at Arrowhead on Sunday, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who look awful, at $7, the Minnesota Vikings at $5. When you're looking at the Bills this year, does this just feel like a redemption tour, like an FU tour after last year's divisional playoff series loss? Round loss?
It does. It does. And I got to be honest, I'm surprised at how they're keeping it up already. 6 games in. I mean, it's tough to enter the season as that Super Bowl favorite that everybody's betting on historically, as you know. I mean, the bets on the Bills were through the roof. And it was kind of strange because they lost in the divisional round, right? You usually don't see that, but I think everybody remembers how they lost those final 13 seconds, that they had the quarterback, they had the team that could have hosted that AFC Championship game, won it, got to the Super Bowl, won it. And I think what should everybody hope about the Buffalo Bills following through and finishing the job this season is they didn't just sit on their hands like they did the year before. The year before, they get smashed by the Chiefs in the AFC title game, and they just kind of run it back. They re-sign everybody. It did some good. It was smart to re-sign Matt Milano like they did.
Yeah.
In other cases, it wasn't smart. But this time around, they went after Von Miller. They went after the missing piece, and you saw it. You saw it in Kansas City. He ends the Chiefs' final 3 drives with his pressures. If he can do that in the playoffs, he can absolutely be the dude who gets them over the hump. And it's pretty remarkable when you look back at that 2011 draft class. A lot of players washed up out of the league. Von Miller still at peak performance.
So we just launched futures in the app Friday, publicly on Monday. So if you were a keen observer of what goes on in the markets on Sport Trade, you could have gotten some early price movement. Here are the top 5, as I mentioned, and their correlated price movements. So the Bills, again, up $2 since Friday. The Eagles up $1. The Chiefs and Buccaneers both down $1.50. The Vikings up 50 cents to $5. Tyler, there's only 4 teams in the NFC with winning records, and 3 of them happen to reside in the NFC East. So I'll ask you, and if there's a team you want under the price of, we can scroll down here. We have the markets up to our right or left, depending on how you're watching it. I don't know. And you tell me if there's a team that you think or you're interested in finding some value in on Sport Trade. Because, again, if you place a futures trade on Sport Trade, they don't actually have to win the Super Bowl in order for you to make money. You can buy and sell at any point, assuming the value of that trade will go up. So what team are you eyeing?
San Francisco.
Okay.
I think that San Francisco is a team that you'd want to hop on right now because they're much better than their record. They've got a lot of injuries. They're dealing with a lot of starters out, especially on defense. So I think that team that lost to Atlanta isn't the team theoretically you're going to see, into November, into December. They're going to get better. We've seen Kyle Shanahan's teams just get better as the year kind of trudges along. Jimmy Garoppolo, say what you want about him. He has his limitations, but he can at least disperse the ball to all their weapons, all their playmakers, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle. They've got a lot of different guys. Brandon Ayuk has been coming on this season. I feel like San Francisco is going to just kind of progress to reality and be the team we all expected, that we've all seen, especially in an NFC where, God, I mean, who really scares you? As you said, who are the legit contenders? I'm not putting Green Bay there right now.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. And I do like Minnesota. I think that Minnesota, to just kind of collect wins like they're doing right now, they're winning the games that Mike Zimmer found a way to lose. I think that Kevin O'Connell will have that team in a really good place as the season progresses as well. But value-wise, 49ers, book it.
So the 49ers are able to be bought for $4.50. Now, these are two-way markets, so you can also short somebody. Having said that, Tyler, because the Bills are commanding a quarter of the market, and I'll place this Niners trade for you, and we'll track it throughout the season. Because of that position, we have the ability to actually short teams. So you could actually bet the field as opposed to the Buffalo Bills. Now, in order to do that, you would have to lay the difference between 124.5. I'm not a math major. 75.5? Yeah. So you'd have to lay 75.5 per contract in order to win 24.5. Would you take the field right now, or would you take the Buffalo Bills as we stand here heading into Week 7?
Man, I would have taken the field up until that Pittsburgh blowout, and then the Chiefs win. Convinced me. If I were a bet man, I'd be putting my money on the Buffalo Bills right now. I mean, we'll see if they can keep it up. I think the law of averages tells you like a Lamar Jackson, a Joe Burrow, a Patrick Mahomes. There could be a quarterback that gets hot, right? You don't know who it is typically. I mean, Joe Flacco was that guy in 2012. It could be a mediocre quarterback. It could be a stud quarterback. Anybody is liable to get hot at the right time. But right now, I have a really hard time thinking anybody's going to beat the Buffalo Bills in the AFC, especially if you get Kansas City at home. I mean, this offense, they really hum at home, and they're great on the road too, obviously, but they can play in the elements, as long as it's not 70-mile-per-hour winds. If that's the case, we'll see. And Mac Jones might waltz in and throw the ball 3 times and win. But no, I think the Bills they're just so talented. Unless Sean McDermott screws it up, right? Unless your head coach chokes with everything on the line again, which is a real possibility. But I wouldn't bet on that. If we're just talking about the talent on the team, give me Buffalo.
Spoken like somebody who's seen that in the past. We'll pull up your portfolio here. So we'll place the Bills trade for you. We've also placed the Niners trade. So $24.50 for the Bills, $4.50 for the Niners. We'll track that. And of course, because it's on my phone, you can see the Philadelphia 76ers future is there too, despite the fact that they got waxed last night by the Boston Celtics. Tyler, this has been great. We really appreciate it. Once more, the Blood and Guts, go pick it up on Amazon or anywhere else. I guess I shouldn't say that. Bookstores aren't a thing anymore. Go pick it up on Amazon. And maybe, just maybe, Tyler will send you a personalized copy because he doesn't do it for his friends. Tyler, any last, what's coming up on Go Long TD?
Hey, you know what? Well, I got them right here. So whether it's you, Dan, or anybody listening, if you buy Blood and Guts, I do have these book plates. You can stick them right in your book. I'll sign it, personalize it. You know what? I got a bunch of sports cards too. Maybe I'll dig up some old tight ends from the 90s. I'll throw those in too.
Oh,
just hit me up on Twitter. Shoot me a DM and I'll send it to you.
And that's at Ty Dunn. Real quick before we go, Tyler, again, we'll remind people of the sweepstakes. Give it away $100 every Friday on the program. All you got to do, follow Sport Trade app on Twitter and quote tweet the live Market Mover Show with hashtag TradeUpNewJersey. Ty, thanks so much, brother. We really appreciate it. Send all of our best to the family. We love you, man. And good luck with everything book related and Go Long TD related. We'll talk soon.
Thank you so much, Dan. Man, it's great to hear you, see you, and our best to you and your beautiful family as well. Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. Coming up tomorrow here on Market Movers, it is Captain Jack Andrews, which means, of course, Captain's Orders. We'll be previewing Thursday night football, getting our leans from the best of the best. It is Market Movers. We'll be back here tomorrow, same time, same place, 4 o'clock on our Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.